All right, fellow fans. Hey, I had a crash video come across the Reddit feeds. I was over there and looking at some of the discussion on it, and it's always a good opportunity to learn some things about riding in a group. And this particular crash had a lot going for it in terms of things you can learn. So let's just look at it in full speed here. You have a group trying to make a left turn, so they're going across a few lanes. This is a concrete road, which is prone to having cracks in it because it's built in these sections. Looks like they're up in the Dallas suburbs where there's a lot of this kind of road, and boom, guy goes down, wheels get hung up in that crack, and he is hurting. So let's back up a little bit and walk through this guy and see what we can learn from this. There's a lot of little things that went down here that could have given everybody a better time. So I'll kind of fast forward here to where just before things get going. So they're coming in. I assume they're coming into a left turn at maybe a stoplight or whatever left they're going to make, because the group seems to be decelerating. Here they're doing 20, and they slow down. Here they're 18 before he's crossed the road. And this is where I want to pick up and go frame by frame and talk about a few things before he gets into this. Okay, number one, if you're making a left turn, there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4 things I'm seeing right here that everyone can learn from. Number one, and this is general with my rides that I lead, my team leads, and the sponsors promote on their websites. We do not allow clip-on aero bars or TT tri-bikes on our rides. They're just not safe, especially a TT or tri-bike. Big reason for that is if it's set up properly to be aero, you're super forward with your weight and they're super squirrely. I give this guy credit. He is out on the skis where he should be the entire time you're in a group on one of these bikes. But even with that bike is not super safe. This guy has clip-on bars, but this guy pretty much, from while he's in frame, he does everything right. He's doing the right things. Starting with, he is in a group and he has his fingers on his levers. That's number one. If you're in the group, you got to have your fingers on your levers. This is not a race, not a climb. If you're on a flat road where the group is humming along, things can change quick, as you saw here with this crash in just a couple of seconds. Have your fingers on your lever. You can do that from when you're down in the drops. You can do it where he is on the hoods, but you can't do it where this guy is sitting on the tops. So this is a mistake. This guy actually gets through this wreck okay, but people, this is a dumb idea. Now you can get away with that if you're an experienced rider and you know the wheels in front of you, those people you've put in miles with them, and generally when you're on a climb or some high friction type space. But at high speed where it's really just wind is the mitigating factor here in terms of speed, it's a terrible idea. There's nothing to be gained there. If your bike doesn't fit to the point where you're having to ride on your tops all the time, get your bike fit right. Get something figured out, because you should not be riding there. Especially, it's clear they're about to make a left turn, so they're coming up to some kind of intersection. Everybody should be on their brakes. And that leads to this second one here. This person's playing it smart. I don't know if they're doing it smart or it's just an accident. He's let this gap open up a little bit bigger. When you're coming up to stoplights, you're coming up to turns, let the gaps open up a little bit on a group ride. Again, this is not a race. Hopefully you're not going for Strava KOMs, going through stoplights and corners. Looks like they might be coming up on Northwest Highway or something. You know what I'm saying? Let those open up. That's a pretty smart move. I don't know if he's doing it on purpose. This guy is not as big of an offender as this guy, but he's sitting back, and I think he has a bike fit issue. I've seen this a lot where guys, rather than having their hand all up in their hood, they have it kind of back on the curve of the bar because it's more comfortable. They can sit up more upright, but still you're slow to get to your brakes right there. Ride like this guy. I'll make fun of him. He's got a tank top on and a camel pack. He's got clip-on aero bars, but my man has his finger on his lever. All right? And you can see Fluoro guy, that's probably going to save him. So back to the action. So we get to this cracked triathlete guy here in a t-shirt. My guess is he's not super experienced riding in a group. Maybe he forgot to bring his jersey, or maybe he doesn't have a jersey. He just has mankinis for racing triathlons. Either way, he's not prepared for this. He's got the wrong bike, at the very least. That's all we can know for certain. Everything else is just conjecture on my part because I like to make fun of people. But here we go. He's got his eyes up. He's not looking at the crack. Obviously, I'm hoping. I think a few seconds ago he did look back to see if he had space to get into the group. But here he is, and you saw earlier in the video. Let me actually go back. You'll see a couple people cross the crack. They've been here before, and you're not hearing this video. It's also worth saying you're not hearing this video, but people are yelling out crack. Okay, they're yelling it out. Also, take notice of this other triathlete bike back here. You can see the telltale vertical straw bottle thing. That person who is way behind the crash, but slow to react or has an unstable bike because it's a tri bike, they also go down when they had no business going down from where they are. But you hear people yelling crack, okay? And what you'll see is, even watch this guy. He goes hard angle across the crack. This guy here. Watch this guy across the crack. He just takes one little kind of snap over there instead of lining up with it. He didn't do it super aggressively, but you know, if you go across even little cracks that your tire doesn't fit in, you need to play it like that. Okay, so here we go. We're slowing down. Go frame by frame, and I don't know what this guy. His eyes are up. He's not looking at the crack. He's not trying to bunny hop. He's not trying to take a better angle. I think his plan is, I know the crack is there. I'm just gonna kind of clench my butt and pray, and we see how that ends up. I mean, that's about a 50 or 60 millimeter deep rim, and the entirety of that rim is below the deck of the road. That is a deep ass crack, and it's wide enough for whatever wheel he's got there. He goes down. Okay, so watch guy on tops. He has a delayed response time because he's got to get his hands to his hoods and his levers. And I'm watching this guy, and he doesn't appear to have a full finger glove. So from what I can tell, his does not have a finger on a lever, and he can see this is going on. You know, give it a quarter second right here. You can see, okay, we know what's happening. Head is turning. Hands are starting to come up here. He's getting ready to react. His instincts are getting his hands back to his levers. This guy's got suffer face. He's ready. He knows. He's already thinking, this is going to hurt. And this guy, as long as his hands are in view, I never see him get a finger to a lever. This guy, and here we are, you know, we're second into this crash, and he still doesn't got on the levers because he was on his tops. Man, that is dangerous. And he's already gaining on this guy who's just grabbed a little bit of brake. This guy's lucky so far he hasn't had his wheel chopped by that guy. But he gets there. This guy's going down. And even here, like, maybe it's hard to say. I think he doesn't like to grab front brake in America here. That's probably his front brake. He has never grabbed any brake. So he is going to get chopped at a full 18 miles an hour, which isn't too bad. You know, you generally, not too bad. It's in that 15 to 20 mile an hour range is not too bad. You start to get up to 25. It hurts. You start to go real slow, and you just fall like a sack of potatoes and break your collarbone. And this guy's wheel, I think, slows him down a little bit. Doesn't seem to get full impact on the ground. You know, I don't see the head do a weird bounce or the helmet shift like it took a shot. But this guy here, he's right on this guy's wheel, and he has enough time to get enough brake to slow it down, okay, so he doesn't go down. But while this is happening, here's another mistake. Do not make this mistake, okay? Tops guy, I think he reads a lot of internet or something. He knows a lot about bike riding, but he doesn't have much experience, because experience says if there's a crash, never, ever look back at the crash, because he doesn't know what else is going to be happening up in front of him. Granted, they're not going at screaming speeds, but when you start hearing that grinding carbon and bodies hitting the deck, you do like this guy right here. This guy's experienced. He knows what's up. It's hot in Texas. He's got his Camelback and his tank top. He knows. You make fun of him because he looks like a dork, but he knows. He never looks back. He's got his fingers on his levers. This guy was on the tops, didn't have his fingers on his levers, and is looking, I mean, he's having a good old time looking back at that crash. He's just getting the replay in his head. This guy makes a pretty smart play. I couldn't see really how much space he had to work with, but he hedged his bets and decided, you know what, this is going down. I'm aiming for the grass. I'm going to limit my losses. Not a bad plan. But we do see Fluoro guy won't go down. He'll run into the pile and put a foot down and never crash. Maybe had some wheel issues, but he never goes down. The other triathlete, who I think probably their mistake was looking at the crash too much and not concentrating. As soon as you need to sense a crash is happening and not look at a crash. And you'll know what I mean next time you have a crash happen near you. Don't look at the freaking crash. Look at what your front wheel is doing and give yourself the best chance. This person's way behind the crash and had no reason to go down, yet they went down at low speed, got tied up. Looks like she kind of gets a foot down, and then decides to just, I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna give it up and go down. So a lot of mistakes made here. Obviously, the first mistake is whoever's in charge of making these roads did a shitty job and cracks that big suck. I know in Dallas, I'm up there a lot for work. I live in Austin, but I'm up there in Dallas a lot, and the bicycle infrastructure is terrible, if not existent at all. So I get it. You guys got a lot of cracks, but man, everything, a lot of things you can learn from this crash. I hope everybody's okay. Hope everybody's bikes are okay. Get out there and ride on.